Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Back again with another video. I know it's been some time since I last uploaded a video. Just been really busy. But nevertheless, here we are back with some more Premier League action, Premier League previews, reviews. A lot of interesting stuff happened over this weekend. Firstly, Arsenal drew 1-1 at the away at Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge. For me, in my personal opinion, I think Chelsea were the better team. They looked more dangerous, even though they were 10 men down, I think, in the second half, or just before yeah, you can say for most of the second half, they were 10 men down. Um, but even though they were 10 men down, they really imposed themselves on Arsenal, showing their attacking threats. They were mostly in Arsenal's box, especially in the first half and a little bit in the second half. I think in the second half, Arsenal came alive and really put things together and caused some issues for Chelsea. But even though Chelsea were down 10 men, they really showed their defensive capabilities and they weren't shy on the attacking form as well. Normally, teams that are a man down would, sit back, especially after getting a goal or getting a lead. They would normally sit back and soak up the pressure from the attacking team. But in this case, they were actually going out attacking, pushing for a win in actual fact. So that really shows a lot about Chelsea's confidence at this moment in time and their attacking threats as well. So yeah, fantastic game. It was a London derby. In my opinion, I think again Chelsea were the better team. Arsenal still look a little bit, even though they were fairly solid in their defense, but they still look a little bit vulnerable because there was no Saliba, no Gabriel, so that partnership. But I think those two defenders for Arsenal, they were quite decent, but not as solid as Gabriel and Saliba. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that game. Let me know in the comment section what are your thoughts on that game. Really shaped up the table nicely. I think Arsenal just lead now by 5 points over Manchester City. So yeah, Manchester City also had a great first half, but a terrible second half, in my opinion. There was some defensive mistake from Vardiol and Nunes. I think that they can do better. I think it was that first goal that happened. Vardiol could have cleared that ball, but left it for Nunes. So definitely was a communication issue there, communication error. Manchester City still look vulnerable in defense. It looks like teams can really still get at Manchester City. They are still struggling at this point to build out or to play out from the back. So a lot of work still needs to be done for Manchester City in their build-up play. We've seen the one, or rather the second goal that happened was a mistake that happened during transition or in the build-up play. They lost the ball in basically in their half, and which led to a penalty, which conceded the goal afterwards. So, from my point of view, Manchester City is still not yet there at their best, at the level where we think they can be, or where we know they can be. But they've definitely improved from last season. Last season they were terrible, really, really, really terrible in my opinion. Um, but it still feels like, even though look, the tables is still open. I think between that, maybe up until first to eighth place, it's not that much of a big gap. I think it's still less than 10 points, so the table is still open. A lose and a draw could really, push teams further down or further up the table, depending on where they're sitting. So yeah, the table is still open, but in my opinion, I still think that once Manchester City starts get going or starts, getting that string of games, and I think this is a crucial time for Manchester City. In fact, for all clubs, but for Manchester City, we know in the past this is the point where they really came alive and where the table really took shape. So I think that if Manchester City can have a strong run now up until December, I think that they can really solidify their position in the title race. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see now, especially because there's weekday games now and weekend games. We know games happen on a weekend, so there's midweek games right now. So the games are coming thick and fast. And in my opinion, I think that Manchester City needs a run of games because this is a team that's built on rhythm, in in my opinion. So the more games they play, the more better they become. We've seen over the last few weeks they really improved, but still has some frailties, defensive frailties. But I guess let's wait and see how the table shakes out. There will be games today and tomorrow as well. So yeah, really going to be interesting to see. Liverpool on the other hand managed to cling a 2-0 win against West Ham. I don't think they were really great in the first half. They still show some signs of struggle. Then obviously they're not yet back at their best or at the level that we know they can be. So yeah, still a long way for Liverpool, but is this the turn of the corner for them, the turn of their bad run for them? I guess we'll wait and see. Because when they played against Real Madrid in the Champions League, we saw they beat Real Madrid, and we thought that they about to turn the corner, and things didn't work out. But in my opinion, I still think that they still have a long way to go to get back to their best. So it's really going to be interesting to see. I don't think even at this point Arne Slot really knows what's his best team, in my opinion. Do we even know as the spectators what Liverpool's best team is? Let me know in the comment section. Would you think fits in the Liverpool starting 11, or what do you think Liverpool's best team is? I think their weaknesses are still in the midfield, even though defensively they still can get caught at. But it's in the midfield. I think midfield really wins games for me. Um, so yeah, it's just in that midfield. If they can figure out that midfield, then they can really get going. I mean, with what they've got in the midfield so far, Verts, Szoboszlai, McAllister, I think that's a solid midfield. That's a decent midfield in my opinion. Verts being that number 10 role, floating that free role. Um, then we've got Szoboszlai playing that 8 role. Even McAllister can play that number 8 role. I think they just need actual CDM. I'm not sure why is he not playing Endo, because Endo is actually like a proper number 6, 6-8, if I can put it that way. Um, so yeah, let me know what you think, or who do you think will be in the top 4 come this December or the end of the winter transfer window. um, Let me know what you think in the comment section of that. And then also, another thing, there was something that I wanted to speak about. Oh yes, the fixtures. So this week's fixtures, uh, Manchester City play Fulham. I think they play away. They really have to get a win tonight. In fact, they really have to get a win to kind of like put that pressure on Arsenal. And I think that Arsenal really need to be tested. Can they handle or deal with that pressure? Look, they are still the favorites to win the league in my opinion, but I still think that there is something missing in that team. I don't know. Look, we can't really say quality, but because quality is in that team, but there's just something missing in that team that's gonna set them above the rest. If you would ask me what it is, I would think Pep is the difference. Yes, Manchester City are not at their best, and yes, Pep got found out last season. We all know that, but I still think that he's the difference in the rest of the league compared to the rest of the league, compared to the rest of the managers. He's the difference, and I think his assistant coach Pep Linders, as well as Kalu Torre in the assistant coaches. I think they are a fantastic addition to Manchester City's coaching staff, to the team, and I really think that they can work well together. They're gonna do well, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, in my opinion, Pep's the difference in the Premier League. Um, But I guess we yet to see what actually happens. So yeah, this was just a quick short video of those three teams: Liverpool, Manchester City, and Chelsea. Um, just a quick video. But if we can have a talk about Tottenham as well as Manchester United, it looks like they're continuing on the form that they were on last season. They're still in the bottom half of the table, and they're a bit on and off in their performances. Tottenham lost again 2-1 at home. Not a good result for Tottenham as well. And this time around, if they continue the way they ended last season, they could be in trouble for relegation. Look, I know it might not happen, but they could really be in trouble for relegation. So yeah, they really need to watch out, because we all know this is a Premier League. Anything can happen. Any team can beat any team. You can't put it past any team not to beat top six team or top four team or even champions, for that matter. So yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what happens to Tottenham and Manchester United. I still think that they won't make it into the top four. For them to make it into the top half, the top 10 will probably be what they're aiming for. Look, any team is aiming for Champions League spots. We all know that. But the season is still long. I think there's more than 25 games left to play. Yeah, about 25, 23, 24 games left to play. We just about creeping up on that halfway point. So yeah, with the games coming thick and fast, like I said, 2-3 games, then you're sitting in the bottom half of the table, or you can be sitting on the top half of the table, or even in the top four. So it's really going to be interesting to see how these teams shape up right now. A lot of injuries still for a lot of teams. Chelsea still have a lot of injuries. Liverpool, there's injuries to Frimpong. Um, and also Arsenal still have some injuries. Gabriel and Saliba also out injured. Manchester City also have some injuries, long-term injuries. Kovacic still out injured, but some of the players are coming slowly back into the team. I think it's just a matter of form for the players. Omar Mamouche really not performing at his best right now. I think last season he ended off the season really well, coming in the January window. So he's still breaking into form. Cherky, I think it's also a little bit of form as well, form and discipline in defensive abilities. Um, so yeah, once these games come in every 3 days for Manchester City, that's more than enough time for the players to get some form, confidence back up. And speaking about Manchester City players, I'm not too confident in our second team. We've seen what happened in the last week in the Champions League, as well as in the league, more specifically the Champions League, when Pep basically played a second team side. So our second team is really not that good. um, there's still a lot of work to be done there in that second team. There's some speculations going on about transfers that needs to come in or that could happen. Semenyo is a possible target. Anderson is also another target. But in my opinion, firstly, striking. Yes, I think we do need a striker. We need someone to help Haaland as well. So Nelson Semenyo, I think, is a great addition, but not for that price. If you're spending anything more than what we spend for Haaland, then I don't think it's a good signing, in my opinion, even though the player showed those abilities. I mean, look at Isak. Isak is probably the most expensive striker right now in the Premier League, but is he a Haaland type striker, or does he have qualities as Haaland? Yes, you can talk about um, Haaland playing in the Manchester City team and so on and so forth. But Isak is also playing in a decent team. He's playing it at Liverpool in a decent team, in my opinion. So yeah, we yet to see what Isak can do at Liverpool. But nevertheless, yeah, if you're spending anything more than what we spent for Haaland, um, then I don't think it's a good buy. But then again, we need another striker. I'm just not up for spending 100 million on a striker when we do have a 100 plus million striker in Haaland. but he does need help. He really does need help. In our midfield, I'm a little bit skeptical about Anderson. Yes, I know that he's going to be a great addition to the team, but I mean, we've got Reinders, we've got Cherky there in the midfield, Foden. We'll talk about Foden before we end off the video. Reinders, Cherky. I mean, I would think that that's enough for the team, but clearly it's not. Or do they need some time? Should we wait until the summer transfer window after the World Cup to make some signings? I don't think it will be a good look for us to get, you know, another player in the midfield. Or I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not up to spend more money. Yes, it's not my money. I know it. It's not my money. But and it's, you know, a little bit odd coming from a Manchester City supporter. You know, we spend a lot of money. I know that. But yeah, definitely a striker. I think our priority should be a striker, in my opinion. If I would have it any other way, I would rather take what we can get for Savinho, that 60, 70 million plus for Savinho, and invest that money into someone like Rodrigo. Apparently, he wants to leave or is not happy at the club. So I would rather invest that money in Rodrigo, um, even over buying another striker to help Haaland. I would take Rodrigo because Rodrigo can play both positions. He can play that striker and he can play that wing of either side of the wing, along with Jeremy Doku. Jeremy Doku, I think, is a great player, but he does also need some competition in that position um, to really push him as a player as well. So yeah, those are just my thoughts and my opinions on the potential incomings or potential signings this winter transfer window. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which clubs do business this winter transfer window. Is Liverpool going to do some transfer business this window, seeing what they spent in the summer? I highly doubt it, but we never know. We never know. Anything is possible. And then just to close off, we'll talk about Foden. I think that Foden, this is his make or break season, in my opinion. Okay, not make or break season to say that he's going to get sold or anything like that. But I think the team really needs him, seeing that De Bruyne left, and they really need that senior or that seniority of Phil Foden. I mean, Phil Foden has been there and done that. He's been amongst the likes of David Silva, De Bruyne, elite players, in my opinion. So he really needs to show himself this season, Phil Foden. So he's definitely one to watch for me. I think that is going to be key. And I mean, he's been the player of the season 2 seasons ago. So we really need Foden. Really, really, really need Foden. And then everybody else can come to the party with whatever they can contribute, goals or assists. But I think Foden is going to be key for us there. He still got that youth, energetic about him. It's just a matter of him keeping fit. Bernardo Silva can play in those positions, but I think his legs is not enough and cannot play so many games as much as Foden can play. I think Foden is at that age right now where he's possibly reaching his prime. So, and when I mean like prime age, it's normally 26, 27, 28. That's normally like your prime age, where your body is, fully developed by then, and so on. But yeah, we're really gonna need Foden. I know that Haaland is committed to the long or to the bigger picture. Defensively, confident in Diaz and Vardio, although Vardio had a mess up. But I think that partnership between him and Diaz is key. I think that they can really form a good partnership in their defensive line. Nunes as well, he's got a mistake or two in him. We all know that. We've seen that. But I think that he does contribute to the team. I mean, you see in the assist, the forward runs, his defensive abilities. Yes, he is capable of playing that role. I mean, for someone to come in from the midfield to a right back, that's a big shift for a player. So yeah, I I can put my confidence on Nunes. I think that he'll do well. He does definitely need help, and just need to shake off that mistake or two in him. For our left back position, it's still a little bit on and off, hit and miss. So, and I mean that's been a position that we've been struggling with for the longest time since Benjamin Mendy times. I think he was our last best or better left back player. Cancelo also has a shout in there. Um, so yeah, it's just that left back position. There's a little bit concerns about that position. The goalie, I think Donnarumma should still just stick in the team. I'm not too confident in James Trafford. Even in our third goalie, I'm not really too confident. But you need to give these players game time. They want minutes. Um, and and yeah, but for me, Donnarumma is the player, in the goalie for me. Then, of course, in that midfield, I still think that Nico Gonzalez should stay in that midfield just to give him some time. Yes, he's not as solid as Rodri. We know that. Um, but I just think he needs some time and more help. Maybe he needs another player next to him at all times on either side. And I think that Nico Gonzalez, and Reinders can really build a partnership in that midfield too. um, it can really build a partnership. I really think so. So yeah, so for me, I would want Nico Gonzalez there, Reinders there, as well as, let me see, Bernardo Silva probably don't have the legs, but he has that control, um, and ball retention. So that's what I like about him. So it's a toss up between him and Foden, but I think for now it's Foden in that position that would occupy that number 10 position, edge of the box, in those half spaces. I think Foden is key. So I would like to see Nico Gonzalez, um, Foden, as well as Reinders in that midfield. I think that's a decent midfield. If you want to turn it into midfield four, you can bring Cherky in there, but I know Pep would want to play him on either wings or either in Foden's position. Then again, in that wing positions, I think Doku should stick there. Obviously, Haaland, the big man. Then it's between Savinho and, you see, that's the thing. It's just Savinho there in that other side, on the other side of the wing. But I think that they should actually switch it around. Um, they should switch it around. Doku should play on the right and Savinho should play on the left, in my opinion. In some game instances, depending on the game. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the squad so far. I think that if we continue playing, especially with this new fixtures that's coming in, I think that we can really turn things around and really, find ways. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll really do my best to post more often. It's just that I've really been busy. But nevertheless, really up for the games this evening as well as for the weekend. I really want to get to doing a live watch along. I really want to get that done. But I guess we'll figure it out. But nevertheless, thank you so much for watching the video. As always, please subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications so that you can know when I'll be posting another video. And I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace out.